In engineering physics, we are discussing the study of physics of nucleus. Under that, in the last session, we looked at the shell model of nucleus. Now we shall focus on understanding yet another model of nucleus, what is known as liquid drop model. Liquid drop model provides a reasonable explanation for a number of nuclear phenomena which are not explained by the shell model. These phenomena involve the masses and the binding energy of nuclear ground levels, the energetics of beta decay, alpha decay and nuclear reactions, the cross section for resonance reactions and the energetics of a nuclear fission. The liquid drop model is an antithesis of the independent particle model. The interactions between the nucleons are assumed to be strong instead of weak. Nuclear levels are represented as quantized states of nuclear system as a whole and not as states of single particle in an average field. Liquid drop model originated was in Bohr's concept of compound nucleus and nuclear reactions. When an incident particle is captured by a target nucleus, its energy appears to be shared among all the nucleons. The captured particle has a mean free path in nuclear matter, which is much smaller than nuclear radius. To account for such a behavior, interactions between nucleons have to be strong and the particles cannot behave independently. The main quantitative aspects of liquid drop model are restricted to the explanation of nuclear masses, nuclear energy surface and the energetics of induced and spontaneous reactions. So this also includes the involvement and development of Weizsäcker's semi-empirical mass formula, wherein the mass of a neutral atom is taken as m, the proton number is taken as z and neutron number taken as n. The binding energy is represented as Be or B. Then the semi-empirical mass formula says m is equal to Zmh into Zmh plus n Mn minus B. Mn is the mass of neutrons. B is the binding energy. It is made up of number of terms of each of which represent some general characteristics of nuclei. The binding energy can be B equal to B0 plus B1 plus B2 plus B3 etc. etc. Each one is a separate binding energy. Binding energy due to one area. Maybe volume energy, maybe surface energy, maybe asymmetric energy or maybe Coulomb's energy or pairing energy etc. So the initial assumptions involved in the development of binding energy are like the nucleus is assumed to be like a droplet of incompressible matter and all nuclei have the same density. Another assumption you are involved in the development of binding energy is the distinction between the triplet, that is neutron-proton combination, and a singlet, neutron-proton force, is neglected. That is, the forces between nucleons are considered to be spin and charge independent. If the Coulomb force is turned off, let us say, then n minus p is approximately equal to n minus n, which is approximately equal to p minus p. So these nuclear forces have short range and are effective only between the nearest neighbors. So let us look at some of the binding energies involved. One such thing is volume energy. So when you look at volume energy, the largest contribution to the binding energy of the nucleus is due to the number of nucleons. That is, binding energy B or Be, whatever you call, is directly proportional to the mass number. So when you replace the proportional, you will get a constant. That constant is what is referred to as AV here. AV is a arbitrary constant. It is a binding energy constant due to volume energy. Similarly, let us look at yet another contributor called surface energy. If volume energy is referred to as B0, then surface energy can be referred to as B1. So those nucleons which lie at the surface of the nucleus have fewer near neighbors than those which are deep inside the nucleus, and therefore they are more loosely bound to the nucleus than the inner ones. Due to this surface effect, the nucleons lying on the surface do not make the same contribution to the binding energy as is made by the inner nucleons. For that, consider capital R be the nuclear radius and D is the nuclear diameter. So from this, if you take density as rho, volume as V, mass as A, then rho can be taken as A by V. But volume is 4/3 pi r cube. Multiplied by mass number, it will become A by 4/3 pi r cube A. That means, if you simplify, it comes to around 3 by 4 pi r naught cube. This expression rho equal to 3 by 4 pi r naught cube is the number of particles per unit volume. Now, volume of a shell between the sphere of radius r and r plus d can be 4 pi r square d. Therefore, number of particles in the shell will become 4 pi r square d, d into 3 by 4 pi r naught cube. So, when you simplify, it will become 3d by r naught cube into r square. That is 3d by r naught cube into r square is nothing but a power 2 by 3 r naught square. That means 3d by r naught into a power 2 by 3. Now, this 3d by r naught, you put it as a constant. AS, surface energy. Minus is nothing but a sign indicator indicating the direction of action. So, therefore, B1 will become, if this is made as constant, then you can write B1 as AS into a power 2 by 3. This constant refers to surface energy. Let us look at yet another factor, that is Coulomb's energy. It is taken as B2. The only long-range force in the nuclei is the Coulomb's repulsion between the protons. Assuming constant density nuclear radius, this R naught a power 1 by 3, that is the loss of binding energy due to the disruptive Coulomb energy, is given as B2 equal to, by substituting the value, you will get as minus 3 by 5 into E square Z square by R naught a power 1 by 3. So you can put 3 by 5 E square by R naught A. R naught is taken as AC. That is Coulomb's constant here. Arbitrary constant AC. That is binding energy due to Coulomb energy. Then automatically B2 will become minus AC into Z square by A power 1 by 3. This is about Coulomb's energy. There is another energy, what is known as asymmetry energy. Asymmetry energy means another deficit in binding energy depends on the neutron excess. That is, excess neutron means n minus z. And it is proportional to n minus z whole square by A. Now, this asymmetry energy is a purely quantum mechanical effect, in contrast with simple classical effects of surface and volume and Coulomb energies. Among the light elements, there is a clear tendency for the number of neutrons and protons to be equal. For example, if you take the case of carbon mass number 12 and carbon C6, 12, or nitrogen 7, 14, or oxygen 8, 16 and so on. Heavy nuclei always contain more neutrons than the protons, and also are found to be unstable because Coulomb's large disruptive energy could not be overcome by the available neutron-proton or neutron-neutron or proton-proton attractive forces. Now we can take a very simple approach to form the asymmetry energy. That is, if n minus z excess nucleons are regarded as producing a deficit of binding energy because they are out of reach of other nucleons, the fraction of the nuclear volume so affected will be n minus z whole square by A, and the total deficit is proportional to the product n minus z square by A. Therefore, from that you can take the third one, asymmetric energy constant. So that will be minus AA into A minus 2Z by A minus 2Z whole square by A. So this you can take it as asymmetric constant represented as AA, arbitrary constant. So this is about asymmetry energy. So let us look at pairing energy. So when you look at pairing energy, the delta corresponds to the even or oddness of the nuclei that is added. The pairing energy before, it can be plus delta or 0 or minus delta. Plus delta means the atomic number is even and even neutron number is even. Then plus delta. If both atomic number and neutron number are odd, then it will be 0. On the other hand, if the atomic number is even and neutron number is odd, or the converse, the atomic number is odd or neutron number is even, then it is minus delta. So the delta value you are calculating automatically gives you A into 1 by A. So therefore semi-empirical mass formula can be written. What we have seen in the earlier stage as B equal to B0 plus B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus B4. That means we have to sum all the values of volume energy, surface energy, Coulomb energy, asymmetry energy and pairing energy. So computing all of them, what we will be getting? By substituting we will get like this. So B equal to AVA minus AS A power 2 by 3 minus AC into Z square by A by 1/3 minus AA into A minus 2Z whole square by A plus or minus delta. So from this the mass of the nucleus can be calculated like this. M equal to ZMH plus NMN minus AVA plus AS A power 2 by 3 plus AC Z square by A power 1 by 3 plus AA into A minus 2Z whole square by A plus or minus delta. So these values are experimentally observed for various variables like AV, AS, AC and AA. Experimental values are found to be something like this. AV is found to be 14.1 MeV, AS is found to be 13 MeV, AC is found to be 0.59 MeV and AA is found to be 19 MeV. So these are basically for even, odd, odd nuclei. So we can represent the delta value therefore as plus delta means plus 33.5 million electron for even nuclei. 0 million electron volts for odd even nuclei. Similarly 0 million electrons for even odd nuclei. Minus 33.5 million electron volts for odd nuclei. So we apply this formula, above formula, to two mirror nuclei. Mirror nuclei are nothing but those nuclei in which Z and N values get interchanged. For example, if you take nitrogen 7, 13, 6, 6, 7. 7, 6 will be with carbon 6, 7. These are mirror nuclei. So from this we can find the reaction as when this decomposed into carbon, you will have a positron and a neutron. So therefore from this energy of disintegration of positron, energy of disintegration is represented as EDIS. So energy of disintegration of positron can be given as EDIS equal to, by substituting these values, here you can write simply as this equation. So M into 13.7 minus M into 13.6 plus ME, this will become negative. Therefore, EDIS will become, there is energy of disintegration of positron is 7 MP plus 6 Mn minus binding energy of this 13.7 minus of, if you take minus common out, then it will be 6 MP plus 7 Mn minus Be 13.6 plus Me, mass of electron. Okay, when you simplify this, you will get this value by successive simplification. Okay, now EDIS, the energy of disintegration of positron, it is the maximum energy of emitted positrons. which can be calculated experimentally when we know the values, mass of Mn value, Mp value, Me value, E value and so on. So therefore based on that we can calculate the radius r, which is nuclear radius, as r equal to r0 into a power 1 by 3. From this the radius of nucleon, that is r0, that also can be calculated. So when we put those values, then the energy of disintegration of positron gives you simplified value like this. So from this, the size of the nucleus R can be determined experimentally. That means liquid drop model provides explanation for a number of nuclear phenomena which are not explained by the shell model, such as energetics of beta decay, alpha decay and nuclear reactions, the cross section for the resonance reaction and the energetics of nuclear fission. This is what we need to know about liquid drop model. Let us look at yet another model of nucleus, what is known as Fermi gas model. In Fermi gas model of nucleus, the nucleus is regarded as a potential well, like a potential well like this. Nucleons move in that potential. Nuclear forces between the nucleons are neglected. These forces are responsible for the existence of the potential well. In Fermi gas, we know that we treat the nucleus statistically in a way. The statistical treatment of a gas is done in the kinetic theory. This model does not give any information regarding the nuclear spins and parities, but is able to give the interpretation of the behavior of nuclei at high levels of excitations. Starting at the bottom of well, each energy level is regarded as being completely filled with as many protons or neutrons as Pauli's exclusion principle allows. There are no vacancies and therefore the nucleus in its ground state is therefore resembles a gas at absolute zero. From this model it can be explained that why the stable nuclei have more neutrons than protons. In the formulation of Fermi gas model, we have neglected Coulomb's interaction between the protons. Suppose if you take V0 is the electrostatic potential of the nucleus, then the bottom of the proton well will be raised by an amount of approximately 5 electron volts. 1 electron volt is equal to 5 volt as compared to neutron. For a given energy, a nucleus has more neutron levels than proton levels, and therefore more neutrons than protons in a stable state you can find. The Fermi gas model also explains some terms in the empirical mass formula and the long mean free path of nucleon scattering at extremely high energies. Now let us understand collective model of nucleus. So in addition to the individual nucleons changing orbits to create excited states of the nucleus, as described by the shell model, there are a number of nuclear transitions that involve many of the nucleons, if not all. Because these nucleons are acting together, their properties are called collective, and their transitions are described by a collective model of nuclear structure. High mass nuclei have low lying excited states, which are described as vibrations or rotations of non-spherical nuclei like this. Many of these collective properties are similar to those of a rotating or a vibrating drop of a liquid. In its early development, the collective model was called the liquid drop model. The first important application of liquid drop model is in the analysis of nuclear fission, in which a massive nucleus splits into two fragments of mass less than the original. The liquid drop model calculates the energy barrier to fission as the sum of repulsive Coulomb forces between the protons of the nucleus and the attractive surface tension of the skin of the liquid drop nucleus. If the barrier is low, the nucleus fission might occur spontaneously. For higher barriers, it takes a nuclear reaction to induce fission. So if you see the energy levels of uranium as an example for this particular schematic approach shows energy levels of uranium-238. So the quantum numbers, level spacing and gamma radiation transition probabilities identify these levels as rotational states of non-spherical nucleus. Nuclei showing collective properties are usually those with many valence nucleons. That means those with proton or neutron numbers that are far from filled shells. As with the shell model, the collective model permits the calculation of spin parity assignments and transition probabilities that are in agreement with the measured properties of collective model. Using accelerators, scientists can create nuclei having very high angular momentum. Nuclei respond to this rotation, which can be as fast as 100 billion revolutions per second. These nuclei lose some of their excitation energy and entire initial angular momentum by the emission of gamma radiation. The gamma radiation flash occurs only for less than 10 power minus second, during which 30 or more gamma radiations can be emitted. So a number of preferred pathways in the de-excitation process exist. They relate to the favorable arrangements of protons and neutrons and can often be associated with specific symmetries or nuclear shapes. If a sufficient fraction of the decay flows down a particular quantized pathway or a band, then the associated structure becomes observable and it can be studied in detail. This is what we need to know about collective model of nucleus. Having seen in detail about various models of nuclei like shell model, liquid drop model, Fermi gas model and collective model, let us have a comparative features of the nuclear models. Means comparing all the models and summarizing all the models. That is what we are going to take up now. Now the shell model is based on the idea that the nuclear constituents move independently, whereas the liquid drop model is opposite of the shell model. In that, the nuclear behavior is based on collective motion. Each model only describes a limited set of phenomena and nuclear properties. The collective model of a nucleus combines the features of all the models. It assumes that nucleons in unfilled subshells move independently in a net nuclear potential produced by the core of filled subshells. The nuclear potential is not always spherically symmetrical potential of the shell or shell model, but undergoes deformations in shape. The deformations represent correlated motion of the nucleus, that is nothing but collective motion of the nucleus in the core that are associated with the liquid drop model. For a nucleus with one more than a Masick number, the extra nucleon has a relatively high angular momentum. The nuclear interaction between the extra nucleon and the core distorts the curve. The nuclear interaction between the extra nucleon and the core distorts the core itself. So a second extra nucleon will distort the core even more. The nucleus gets pulled along as under a tidal force. The moving deformation, which includes protons, constitutes a current with a magnetic dipole moment. It corrects the shell model value and brings the predictions in line with the experiments. It also produces an electric quadrupole moment of the nucleus to which hyperfine splitting is sensitive. It produces such an electric quadrupole movement of the nucleus to which hyperfine splitting is becomes sensitive. Another result is that the core will acquire a moment of inertia with a distinct energy spectrum. This is observed in many even nuclei. We can derive an energy spectrum semi-empirical formula classically as E equal to half I omega square, like kinetic energy equation. where I is the moment of inertia of the body about the axis or rotation, and omega is the angular frequency of the rotation. The discrepancies at higher excitations can be understood because at highest or higher moment of inertia values, the nucleus will be slightly more deformed by the larger centrifugal force, and therefore its moment of inertia becomes larger and the excitation energy naturally decreases. The single particle shell model works best near closed shells. Further away from the magic numbers, cooperative effects appear, which are best incorporated into the collective models in which rotational and vibrational motion can be built. This is how we can analyze comparative approach. Let us recollect the key terms or definitions that are discussed so far. The protons and neutrons that reside inside the nuclei are called nucleons. The difference in nuclear mass and its constituent is called mass defect. The binding energy of a nucleus is equal to its mass defect, otherwise called equivalent energy. The mass defect, which is represented as delta M, can be converted into energy E using Einstein's mass energy equivalence as E equal to delta mc square, where c is the velocity of light. Nuclear forces are always attractive except at a distance shorter than 1 Fermi. Nuclear potential is expressed as Yukawa potential, which we have seen as E of R equal to minus E naught R naught into e power minus R by R naught by R. The atomic numbers that show sudden increase in the nuclear binding energy are called magic numbers. That's like 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82, 126, etc. So in Fermi gas model of nucleus, the nucleons are treated as gas molecules without spin. Now if you summarize the key terms, the main points to be remembered, we can summarize the whole session like this. The size of a nucleus is estimated to be the order of few femtometers, that is around 10 power minus 15 meters. Energy required for the confinement of a particle to a given dimension can be obtained by setting the de Broglie wavelength of a particle equal to the given dimension. The constituent particles of the nucleus are protons and neutrons. The electrons cannot exist inside the nucleus. Based on de Broglie wavelength, we have explained that. The mass of the nucleus is always less than the sum of mass of the total number of its nucleons, which is termed as mass defect. Isotones are the elements having the same number of neutrons. Isotopes are the elements having the same atomic number but different mass number. Isobars are atoms of different elements having the same atomic mass but different atomic numbers. The energy equivalent of this mass defect is the binding energy. Several models have been proposed to explain the properties of the nuclei. Like models have been proposed to explain the properties of nuclei are liquid drop model, shell model, collective model, Fermi gas model, etc. In Fermi gas model of nucleus, we treat the nucleus statistically like a gas in the kinetic theory. This model does not give any information regarding the nuclear spins and parities, but it is able to give the interpretation of the behavior of nuclei at high levels of excitation. Liquid drop model provides explanation for a number of nuclear phenomena which are not explained by shell model, such as the energetics of beta decay, alpha decay, nuclear reactions, the cross section for resonance reaction, the energetics of nuclear fission, etc. Protons and neutrons being referred to as nucleons. Total number of nucleons in a nucleus is usually denoted by the mass number A, where A will become Z plus N, where Z is the number of protons and N is the number of neutrons. The simplest nucleus, that of hydrogen in a single proton, is a single proton. It is an elementary particle. The mass is about 940 million electron volts. The mass of a nucleus is always less than the sum of individual masses of the protons and neutrons which constitute it. This difference is what is termed as mass defect, which we have seen earlier. The Einstein formula, if you recollect, E equal to mc square, relates the energy E to the mass, where c is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second, being the speed of the light in vacuum. Binding energy of a nucleus is defined as the energy equivalent to the mass defect of the nucleus. When a nucleus is formed from nucleons, the mass of nucleus is not equal to the total masses of the nucleons. The difference of these two is the mass defect of the nucleus. And I told you the nuclear potential that varies with nuclear energy forces is given by the Yukawa equation. The binding energies for various atomic numbers show sudden increase in values for some atomic numbers. These atomic numbers correspond to the nuclei which are more stable or what are known as Magic numbers. According to shell model, the motion of each nucleon is governed by the average attractive force of all the other nucleons. The resulting orbits form shells which are similar to the orbits of electrons in the atoms. Each model explains some property of the nuclei. The liquid drop model explains the fission process. Shell model explains the magic numbers. Collective model gives the fine structure and spin orbit coupling. Therefore, no single model is capable of explaining all the features of nuclei. This is what we need to know about the models of nuclei. Based on this, in the coming sessions, we shall try to understand nuclear fission and fusion leading to the design of nuclear weaponry like atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, hydrogen bomb, neutron bomb, etc. in the coming sessions.